you can't come to the phone right now. I'm listening to Party Talk Podcast.
Welcome to the Party Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Cooper Keimig, here with Chris Keimig. Before we get into anything, I just want to thank everyone who's been tuning in to the podcast. We've had some great interactions, received lots of comments about the show, and just want to thank you guys again. Really appreciate it. All right, today's episode will be Fantasy Football Week 8. Can you believe it? We're almost halfway finished with Fantasy Football. It's going by so fast. But, all right, without any further ado, let's take a look at some of our picks and predictions that we had last week. So let's take a look at our sleepers that we had last week. Who'd you have as a sleeper, Chris?
I went with Rashee Rice of the Kansas City Chiefs. 6 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown for 17 points. He has 5 double-digit points this year with 3 in a row. He might lose a little bit to Nicole Hardman, but he's still the big kahuna in Kansas City after Kelsey.
Yep, that's a good pick. And then my sleeper was Wan'Dale Robinson. Fortunately, only caught 1 pass for 3.2 PPR points. He had a really good matchup, but Tyrod Taylor finally threw to Darren Waller, which I can't be mad about, but it did end up hurting our sleeper pick. All right, so let's take a look at our starts of the week that we had last week. My start of the week was Jalen Waddle. He had a solid week with 12.2 PPR points. This could have been a lot better, but he did leave the game with a back injury. It looks like he's good to go. He's practicing today on Wednesday. 12.2 PPR points is pretty good, but it could have been better if he didn't leave the game. Who was your start of the week, Chris?
Patrick Mahomes. I knew he was due to break out. He just, he's a consistent 20-pointer, but after the last couple of years, he's been putting up some big points. So he came back with a 33.8 PPR points this week, 4 touchdowns, 424 yards. I think he had over 300 at halftime. So I thought for sure that 400 to 500 yards was coming. So about time, Patrick.
Yep, that's a great call. And then our last prediction for the week was our bets. Both of ours hit. My bet last week was a straight Jaguars money line, and that hit. What was your bet of the week from last week?
Mine was more or less a gimme. Christian McCaffrey touchdown. Was it 16 weeks in a row now?
Yeah, I think he broke the record for most in a row.
Probably keep going. He might get 20.
Yep. So we're 2-0 last week, and we're gonna look to keep that going. All right. So let's just take a quick view of the Week 8 matchups. Tomorrow, which is Thursday, you got Buccaneers versus the Bills. Sunday, we got Houston versus the Panthers, Rams versus Cowboys, Vikings versus the Packers, Saints versus the Colts, Patriots versus the Dolphins, Jets versus Giants, Jags versus the Steelers, Falcons versus the Titans, Eagles versus the Commanders. And then the evening games on Sunday, you got Browns versus Seahawks, Ravens versus Cardinals, Chiefs versus Broncos, Bengals versus the 49ers. And then Sunday night is Bears versus Chargers. And Monday is Raiders versus Lions. All right. It's time for the pit of the week. Who is your pit of the week, Chris?
I've been denying it for weeks now. I listen to a lot of fantasy shows, and they keep talking about them, but I've been denying it. But it's finally come true. Calvin Ridley, a big old turd, 1.5 points. That's 1 catch for 5 yards. Pathetic. He's only got 2 TDs on the season. He's only been over 40 yards for the year twice. I'm not going to cut him yet, but he's definitely going to bench and bring in Addison to the starting lineup. So look out, guys.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just traded for Calvin Ridley last week. It's not looking too good. I still have faith, though. I think he'll turn it around. Yeah, so my pit of the week, and I hate to call him he's stuck in the pits, but it's going to be Zach Moss. He underperformed this week with 7.2 PPR points. He had 20 touches, though, but he only got 60 yards. the reason I hate putting him in the pits is because he's a fifth overall running back this year. But if you haven't noticed, Jonathan Taylor's back. They just paid him all this money. He had the better fantasy game. And I mean, Jonathan Taylor was the consensus first overall pick last year in drafts. So it's his backfield. Yeah, Taylor finished with 21 PPR points. And I got to put Zach Moss in the pits until further notice. All right. Let's take a little look at waivers. Who's someone you're looking for on the waiver wire, Chris?
I think Kareem Hunt, but he's still banged up a little bit. Who's that other guy behind Hunt?
Pierre Strong.
Pierre Strong.
He got him from the Patriots, I believe.
I think it's one of those two. I didn't know really who was going to break out this week or next coming up this week here. I think it actually might be Pierre Strong because I heard Hunt's a little bit banged up still, but I think there's one of them with Ford out a couple weeks with that sprained ankle. They said he left with a walking boot today, so it might be maybe 4 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah,
you could see 1 to 2, but
you could see an IR stint from Ford coming up. So
yeah.
Hunt or Pierre Strong, if Hunt was already taken, this morning, Pierre Strong might be someone to look at too. Who's your other?
Another one I got Trey McBride of the Arizona Cardinals. Zach Ertz is on the IR. And he's been getting 5 to 6 targets the last couple of weeks, so that might jump up to 9 to 10. So I think he might be a tight end that somebody could use.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers here in front of me, but I heard that Trey McBride is averaging, I think, the third most among tight ends in PPR points per route run. So, when he's on the field, he's getting, yards and targets and everything. So he's someone you might want to pick up if you need a tight end. Speaking of tight ends, my favorite pickup is Dalton Kincaid, tight end for the Buffalo Bills. At the time of writing, he was only rostered in 31% of ESPN leagues. Last week, he had 8 catches for 75 yards and 15.5 PPR points. He was Josh Allen's favorite target last week in a loss, which shows something. And the reason I like him to go ahead and pick him up is because the other tight end for the Bills, Dawson Knox, he's going under surgery and he might be out for a while. Could go on the IR. So I'd look to pick up Dalton Kincaid if he's out there. All righty.
How about Josh Downs?
Yeah.
Since week 3, he's the number 17th best wide receiver. So if he's still out there, I'd grab him also.
All right. Who is your start of the week this week, Chris?
I got Austin Eckler of the Chargers. He's kind of like Mahomes. He just, he really hasn't broken out yet this year. He was hurt for 3-4 weeks there. He should be fully healed from that hamstring. They're playing the lowly Bears this week. Bears are the 6th lowest rated team against the run, giving up over 25 points to running back. So I can see him scoring a couple times and hopefully starting catching some balls out of the backfield.
Yeah, that's a good call right there. My start of the week, I'm going to go with another running back in Breece Hall. He's coming off the bye, fresh legs. He's shown the last couple weeks that he looks healthy. Now I think he is fully healthy now. Over the last 2 games that he played, he had 28.4 PPR points and 20 PPR points. He faces off against the New York Giants, who are a bottom 7 run defense. They've been playing a lot better. I think he'll get a lot of rushing yards and a touchdown. I don't think he'll catch a lot of passes this week. The Giants have been surprisingly good against stopping receiving running backs, but I love Breece Hall this week. All righty. What do you got for me, Chris?
We're going to try a new segment today, Cooper. We're going to have Dr. Fantasy step in, and that's going to be your new moniker. You're going to be Dr. Fantasy, and we're going to have some callers, and you're going to try and fix your team if you could. All right.
Okay.
So give it your best shot. Our first caller, he's on the line. Hello, Dr. Fantasy. I like to stay anonymous, but you can call me CJ. My team is currently 3-4. I'm currently in last place. I don't know how. My team has scored the most points in the league, but the points scored against me are the second highest in the league, almost the top. Here's my team right now, if you can help me out. My quarterbacks, Mahomes and CJ Stroud. I haven't had to use Stroud yet this year, but because Mahomes has been pretty good. My running backs, Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard. I picked up Dante Foreman. He had an awesome week last week, thanks to you. Wide receivers are Kareem Hunt, or Keenan Allen, Puka, Zay Flowers, Debo sitting on the bench. I got Jordan Addison sitting on the bench. I got Josh Palmer sitting on the bench. And Rasheed Rice. My tight end is Logan Thomas. I need your help, Dr. Fantasy. What should I do? Should I make some trades? Can you help me out, please?
Yeah, CJ, you said it was, right?
Yeah. You call me CJ.
So, the team you named off, I'm not sure how you're in last. What I would recommend is if you're in an ESPN league, a 12-man league, and you got a team who's 7-0. His name is CD's Nuts. I'd recommend taking a look at his roster and see if you can make a trade with him.
It's not very good, I don't think. I know my roster's better than his.
Yeah, there is one thing lacking, and it's a tight end. What I'd recommend is, look at your wide receivers. You got Zay Flowers and Debo and Jordan Addison, who are all going to be on the bench, quote unquote. Go out and make a trade for a tight end and, wait it out, I would say. And there's no reason why you shouldn't at least make the playoffs, and you'll have a good shot in the playoffs. And
okay,
it just
thank you,
so
Dr.
happens
Fantasy.
I would target Sam Laporta. He might be sitting on someone's bench.
Did he play for the Hawkeyes?
He did.
I don't like the Hawkeyes. I'm a Nebraska Cornhusker fan.
All right. No, but that team is very good. You just gotta wait it out at this point. You got multiple top 5 players at their position. You got a top 3 quarterback. You got 2 top 5 running backs. 2 top 5 receivers. I'd wait it out, but see if you could add a different tight end, and that might help you out. All right, next caller.
Maybe I could trade that Tony Pollard to that Cowboy fan that you know.
Probably give you his whole team. All right, who's our next caller?
All right, Dr. Fantasy, we got our second caller on the line. Hello, Dr. Fantasy. My name is Jaden. You can call me J-Nor. I'm not going to lie, man. My team sucks. I'm 2-5. My offense is terrible. I'm not going to lie, man. My quarterbacks, Justin Fields and Matthew Stafford. I'm not going to lie. Those two are the worst quarterbacks I've ever had. I'm like, come on. Running backs, Ramondre Stevenson, Miles Stinkin Sanders, Jerome Ford. He's hurt now. Wide receivers, Terry McScorin, not this year. Amari Cooper. That's the only thing I got going for him. I guess his name is Cooper. Joshua Palmer. Cortland Sutton. I don't know why he's even playing this year. Josh Downs. He's pretty decent. My tight ends, Dallas, not Goodard. Yanu Smith. I'm not going to lie. I think my best player is Max Crosby. What do you think I should do? Come on, Dr. Fantasy, please help me.
I'm not going to lie, man. I'm not going to trade with you. All right. J-Nor, taking a look at your team. What I'd recommend is I'd trade away anybody you can for picks. I'd go all in for next year. Not necessarily picks. I'd also look at trading for some pieces to use with your keepers. Ramondre.
I don't even think I got 4 guys I could keep.
Yeah, I mean, you got Ramondre and, I mean, Josh Downs if it carries on all season. Amari Cooper, but Justin Fields maybe. I would I would start making some trades either for players that you're going to keep next year or for picks. But I'm not going to lie, man, that roster's pretty tough.
It's pretty bad. I know. All right. Appreciate it, Dr. Fantasy.
You're welcome. Who we got next?
Oh, here's our last caller of the day.
Hello, Dr. Fantasy. Mom! Mom! It's not that kind of fantasy show, Mom. That's on Saturday when you give me my bath. Okay, Dr. Fantasy. Man, that guy's last team really sucked. Man, I'm not gonna lie, that team sucks. But I got a pretty good team here. I got a few issues, but I have a cornucopia of running backs and a plethora of wide receivers. I can't get any points out of my quarterback. I don't understand. He's like a Hall of Fame quarterback. I just don't know what to do.
All right. Who's the quarterback?
My quarterback is Aaron Rodgers of the Jets. He's like I said, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and I get 0 points for him every week. Can you help me out, Dr. Fantasy?
Oh. Yeah.
What should I do? Aaron frickin' Rodgers. 0 points every week.
I think you need to find a new hobby.
So you don't think I'm doing any good?
I think you need a new quarterback there.
Oh, well, yeah, I get 0 points every week. I could have told you that, Dr. Fantasy. All right. Thanks for nothing. See you next week. You got a great show.
All right, we got to turn off the calls this week. No more calls. Whew. All right, that was interesting. Thanks for the calls, guys. We appreciate it. All right, let's wrap this episode up with our bets of the week. My bet of the week is going to be a 2-pick parlay. We're looking to keep the streak going. You know, we're 2-0 from last week. Mine's going to be 2 money lines. I got the Houston money line over the Carolina Panthers. Add that with the Chargers money line over the Bears, and that will get us plus money. All right, what's your bet of the week, Chris?
Well, it's about the same bet I did 2 weeks ago where I didn't quite cash, but I thought I had a good chance. I got the Chiefs and the Broncos game. I'm going a 4-leg parlay. Got Pacheco over 65.5 rushing yards. Last time they played, he finished just barely under that, but he only averaged 3.9 yards a carry. He did have 16 carries, and I can see him breaking off. Knock on wood, we get a 20-yard run in there, or even a 10-yard run. I think he's going to cash that. I got Mahomes over 21.5 yards rushing. He gets that every week. Bet that time big time. Rashid Rice, 44.5 receiving yards. I think he had 70 the last time they played. And then Kelsey, 72.5. He was over 100 something, 129. That's the week I thought they'd sit him out because he was injured, but they needed him just to win that game. But this one's going to be in Denver. And if Taylor Swift's there, look out for Kelsey, man.
All right, that's a good call. All right, that will wrap us up for Fantasy Week 8. We'll catch you next time. See ya.
Dr. Fantasy.